On May 12th, 23 local businessmen were tried in an Andijan court accused of terrorist activities. The next day, thousands of local residents came out to the main square to protest their innocence. A group of their armed supporters then took over a government building. The army soon arrived. A shootout took place between the two sides. After a phone conversation with the Uzbek interior minister, the militants decided to leave the building and headed outside. At this point, the leader of the rebels, Sharif Shakirov, talked to the BBC's Uzbek service on his mobile phone as he walked towards the main square. These were his last words. Sharif Shakirov was one of the 186 that the government confirmed died that afternoon. Opposition groups claim the number is closer to 750. Today, Andijan is sealed. No independent journalists are allowed in. We traveled to neighboring Kyrgyzstan. We smuggled ourselves into Uzbekistan using an unofficial local route. Over there is Uzbekistan. Where we are now is Kyrgyzstan. This is a very tiny little border which is only known to the local residents. The border is a simple plank of wood over a dried up stream. Once inside the country, we had to change cars 3 times and took several hidden routes through people's back gardens to get to the closed city of Andijan. Today, all appears quiet, but the city is full of fear. Uzbek KGB and police have been all over Andijan looking for rebels and any outsiders. Journalists are not welcome. Our cameraman had to improvise to allow us to film on the streets without being spotted. In the main square, we saw the government's efforts to clean up the scene of some of the killings. This used to be the cinema, and it was here, according to locals, that much of the killings happened as people seeking refuge were shot at by government troops. But the government haven't managed to clean up everywhere. Apparently, people were trying to escape the main big avenue, down this road, to the tiny little streets trying to find a refuge, and they couldn't. Witnesses say they were met by government soldiers, and you can clearly see the signs of the gunshots all over the walls. We met many people in Andijan who were too frightened to speak. They all told us that the demonstration on May 13th began peacefully. This couple's 21-year-old son Haidbek had been at the start of the demonstration. He came back to tell his mother about it, and then he went back. The next day, they found his body in the morgue. They took his body home with a number tag from the morgue attached to his toe. The numbers on the tags would have given us an idea of the numbers killed that day. But a few days after Haidbek's death, the authorities came around and demanded the tag back, something they did with all the bodies of those killed that day. Andijan is now a city of the missing. Some disappeared on the day. Others were arrested later in a government sweep. Some believe their relatives are here at the prison. They come every day to try and find out if their loved ones are inside. Some have been looking for weeks, like this man. He has heard nothing of his son's whereabouts since the 13th.
Morgue komadı, boshqa komadı, hamma yo'lda ishlab chiqishdi, topsholmadi. Lekin odamlarning gapi bo'yicha tirik deb eshitganmiz, shunda tirik ekanda yuribmiz xolos, biz hech qanaqa nimamiz yo'q.
Those not in the prison may be here. We found this mass grave on the outskirts of the town. The graves have been hastily dug. No names, only numbers. We could not confirm why. The undertaker went missing the day after these graves were dug. This is the first time these graves have been filmed. This appeared probably all in the same time. They all look fresh and recently digged. So we can only guess who is buried there. Many fled following the violence to neighboring Kyrgyzstan. Fatima and Kutibilo are left with 13 grandchildren to look after. Their 2 sons-in-law were arrested after the demonstration, and their whereabouts are still unknown. Their only son was wounded during the shooting and died 3 days later. And their trauma didn't end there. Their 2 daughters fled to neighboring Kyrgyzstan. Fatima wants them to stay where they are. That same day, we smuggled ourselves out of Uzbekistan to the safety of Kyrgyzstan. Up in the hills are the heavily protected camps, where 420 Uzbeks find themselves in the middle of a huge diplomatic row. The Uzbek regime is demanding them back, and the Kyrgyz government is so far refusing. With so many demonstrators now missing in Uzbekistan, the refugees here are praying the Kyrgyz government doesn't change its mind. We found Fatima's 2 daughters and played them the tape of their mother, pleading with them not to come back home. They then told us how they managed to escape the carnage in Andijan for the safety of Kyrgyzstan, only to be met at the border by the Uzbek troops.
Erkeklar ichida maykalarni, ayollar ro'mollarni yechib otmaylar, biz tinchlik tarafdorimiz, qurolimiz yo'q deb qo'limizni ko'tarib olg'a otayotgan tarafga intildik. Unga ham qaramasdan qirib tashladi. Nechta erkaklar, yosh bolalar, qancha odamlar.
I was about to leave when one of the daughters asked me one final question. We had heard that the only surviving rebel leader was in hiding in the south of Kyrgyzstan. We went to a secret location where we had arranged to meet Kabu Parpir. He is at the top of the Uzbek government's most wanted list. Uzbek operatives active in the area have put a price on his head, $10,000 US. We were the first Western journalists he spoke to.
Shu narsani talab qilib qo'ymoqchimanki, bunga O'zbekistonga mustaqil tekshiruvchilar kirish kerak. Neytral odamlar. O'zbekiston tomon ham bo'lmasin, biz tomon ham bo'lmasin. Umuman tashqaridan bo'lgan odam tekshirsin va baho bersin. Kim aybdor bo'lsa jazolasin.